Greetings. Welcome to Mystic Moons. Snowing tonight, light snow. It's cold outside. I'm broadcasting. Mystic Moons is broadcasting from the Northeast, high in the mountains. And it is soon to be the beginning of winter. Winter actually starts I think it starts December the 20th. Could be. Probably something like that. Anyway, it's coming up. It's coming up soon. All the trees are barren. Frosty golden leaves are all over the place. They're on patios, verandas, decks, streets, sidewalks. And they're just flowing around the ether, undressing the naked trees. Trees that are reaching out, trying to grab our attention. Look to the heavens. Look to the heavens. Well, today we're going to look to the heavens for an answer about something that's puzzling us, earth animals, us earthlings, people, us. Sometimes we wonder, where are we going? Where are we going with everything? And sometimes you wonder, wait a minute, who's in control? Who is in control? So as you sit back in your comfy chairs, sometimes you should think, when you turn on that TV, televisions. Of course, you're watching cable, so they don't call it televisions anymore. We've gotten a little play with words, word games. But the thing that you could feel with all these pharmaceutical ads you see everywhere, every second on cable, every second they're going, are you all right? Take this pill, take this vaccine, take this, take something to cure you. It's always something is bothering you and you must be something. Our state of mind is in trying to create a needy environment. And of course, this constant thing of health. Gone are the days of garlic, onion soup, chicken soup. No, we have pharmaceuticals. Hello. How are you? You got to think about, are we being conditioned again, program, because I mean, let's face it, if you hear something 100 times, we hear it 1,000 times. We're being conditioned. This is what we do. This is what you must feel. And you have to get the feeling with all these pharmaceutical ads, all these instant wonder, feel better now, get rid of your gut, get rid of your belly, get rid of this, that. No more fast foods. We're talking like fast medicine. And also be very afraid of catching a germ, a virus, a cough, a runny nose, a bumps, a rash. You have to wonder, in this be very afraid of a cough, a cold, you're going to die. Because if one person passes away from a sneeze or a confection, respiratory disease, which, I mean, let's face it, with all the chemtrails for the last 2 decades at least, of course they've been doing it longer than that, ever since they exploded the first nuclear bomb testings in the West. Probably even before that. The Manhattan Project, they put all those cute little things in the atmosphere that we suck into our lungs on a daily basis. In fact, there was even a thing during that same era that radiation toothpaste was good for you. DDT rather, was good for you. So they sprayed it in your houses, on your streets. They sprayed it everywhere like it was deodorant. What I'm trying to say is, we are creatures that like to have, especially in the United States, other people do their thinking for us. I heard this, I heard that, I heard this. But you're not listening to the two brains between your ears and in your belly of something feels weird. Doesn't it feel weird sometimes to constantly being told how to feel, what to feel? And if you don't go along with a crowd like the sheep jumping off the cliff, then you're lame, not with it, ignorant, stupid. But besides, we're getting far away. We're getting ahead of ourselves. But the more important thing is, besides the name calling, which is common for Americans, us, to do to each other, let's ask the spirits something about this whole psyched up, pumped up, legal drug induced atmosphere. Are we being set up to fear illness? Not to treat it per se, but to do what we're told to do. In other words, remember lockdown 1, COVID, the C word, 6 feet apart, stay indoors, wear a mask, take your prescribed course of CDC action. Now, it seems like that was beta testing, and it worked very well. We were very eager. But of course, in places like New York City, we would get a $50 plus ticket if we got too close, didn't have our mask on, all these types of things. Even when we were coming across state lines from the country of New Jersey to the country of New York, the state police had a little trivia work to do. Let me check your status. Now they iron out all the kinks. So they think they have. But let's ask the spirits, the universe. Are they planning on doing lockdown 2.0 with this bird flu that they're building up in the papers, newspapers, online? And you see people all around, I do. They're lining up to get all their shots, all their prescribed medicines, all their preventions. Instead of like washing your hands and eating lots of immune boosters, we're being told to get this and get that. Synthetic lab produced products from firms, companies, that it is their business to sell. It is their business to sell you, and you buy, you take. Now, we heard all sorts of things, and we know we don't live in an altruistic, benevolent society that wants the best for us. We're being told you don't need to go to college. High school's good enough, and get a trade, because that way the robots can't copy or take your position. Now, come on. If robots can be high-tech, first of all, being human is not so unique. I mean, the algorithms are easy. We have about 5 or 6 ways we all do things. Some of us do them in a little bit more entirety. Some of us just do the surface stuff. But basically, there's not that much difference between you, I, and everybody else. So for a machine to come up with objective, A, B, C, D, it's easy. There's no such thing as, if your machines are smart, does that mean that we're getting dumber and dumber and dumber? To call a machine smart, it's just programmed by someone who has the patience to sit in front of a monitor and go through all the different steps involved. And that's that person's gift or that person's abilities. We all have different abilities. That's the beautiful part about humanity. We all do different things. All right, but back into lockdown 2. So now, are we being prepped, programmed, controlled into being lock down the fear. They're trying so hard to get the fear of the immigrants, the fear of the colors against the non-colored, or everybody's a different color, so it's even stupid to say that. Or we're being afraid to think of like male-female warfare. You don't agree with the populist consensus goes. Oh, there's so much division. In fact, you could say that we're on a roll of separation, but we're also uniting in our separation because it's also preposterous. We're realizing something that we have been programmed to be something that we're not. But this is called a lockdown. How many people are going to fall for this next episode? And that's they're trying to build it up. Be afraid of third world countries. Now, what is more third world than our country with the population, roads effed up, bridges blown up, sinkholes everywhere, people do not have enough to eat, jobs are fleeting, and jobs have been fleeting since the last 5 years. And they're not really hiring because we're going to use a machine to take your place, which means the top 20% get more and more and more loaded. Money, 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 money. I sound kind of cynic, didn't I? But it's hard not to see repetition. Just like this lockdown thing. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of New York City. Now, how many of you have been to New York City and seen those Christmas decorations? And you could say, oh, that's traditional. The same thing year after year after year after year. But there's so many people that are creative. So many people that have beautiful, beautiful things they make. Do they get a chance to put it up for diversity? No, that's diversity. Instead of having, it's like a rerun. It's one thing that whoever is the human or non-human honcho is just repeat to smother any type of agility out of us. All right, now I picked up 5 cards. Now let's just see. Let's ask the spirits. Do these cards give us an inkling about, are they leading us to lockdown 2.0 again? The 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. The showdown. I get the 9 of Cups a lot. Maybe because all these questions that I ask the spirits to guide me towards, or spirit questions. We want to know something, the direction that we're going. And somebody's having a big barbecue on our feelings, on our sweat, our lives. And it's not for like happiness, it's something else. 4 months, 4 weeks, 4 days, old timing card. The 4 of Cups. Hello. Yes. It could be, not only are we talking about like the atmosphere that's going on right now, our food, even with the food stamp thing. I mean, like saying that these lazy people don't want to work. And of course, there's no jobs for them to work. What are they supposed to do? And they talk about the robots, the AI, the software, agentic AI. And how are they going to buy anything or do anything when people don't have any jobs? Nobody's thought this out. Or they thought it out and they just love to like keep throwing, you must be mentally ill, you must be stomachache, you must have this, you must have flu. No, be afraid. Look at all these cups. Now we have the 9 of Cups, we have the 4 of Cups, and we have the 3 of Cups. You see that? The 3 of Cups. The 3 of Cups. This looks like we're headed down to like lockdown 2, doesn't it? That's the question. Are they programming us with all this misery going on? All this negativity, all this be afraid, slaves, knaves, peasants, proletarians, workers. We have many different names, don't we? Empire always has names for the people not running the show. But they're running the show in terms of the sweat, in terms of the hurrah, hoorays, not the nays so much, but yeah, bravo, bravo. And we have justice. Now, justice card here. I mean, it's going to come from like the top to down. This is not from the down up. Because we do see people in supermarkets that have the face mask on. We see people in the drugstores all over the place are getting their have preventive measures advertised by Big Pharma. I'll put it that way. Yes, they are very aware that I do not want to. I'll wear a mask again. I'll stay 6 feet apart. I'll do it. I want to make sure I'm safe. If safety depended upon you having a piece of plastic around your nose and mouth, what kind of society do we live in? Pin the tail on the donkey? Bubbles? We have countries that want to bomb the F out of us because they do not like our hegemonic activities. They do not like our attitude. They do not like our culture. And yet a piece of plastic, either saying that you have had your necessary prescribed pharmaceuticals or over your nose, breathing it in, more plastic, as if we don't have enough things in our contaminated air, our contaminated water, enough forever chemicals everywhere. Suck it up in your nose and then give some more of your DNA to make sure that you do not possess this particular strand of flu. Every year prior to 2020, flu would take out about 60 to 50,000 people. And the cough, the same thing. Influenza has always taken lives because not everybody takes care of themselves and not everybody has an immune system that can handle trashy food, garbage food, synthetic everything, fabric, toilet paper, paper towels, pads, garments. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles. It seems like we are definitely, we're having a lot. We have 2 9s, right? We have 2 9s, Pentacles and Cups. There's money in lockdown. Lockdown 1, a lot of people lost their businesses, lost their jobs. Why? Because they could not go outside and the business had to close except for the big tier companies, which now are running the show now. This looks that they will shortly declare lockdown 2.0. Too much happiness, too much positivity in terms of lockdown. And this Justice card. What more better to quench the thirst of rebellion than to have lockdown because of germs, invisible virus, something you can't see. Because we do not have fresh water. Because companies have been polluting our waterways for too long, but they got away scot-free. And they're still running freely doing their business. And they think you have such a Sesame Street of retention, 2-second retention, you will forget. And anything their company marketing team comes up with, you believe. And you will forget your sensibilities because you're being programmed to not have any thinking, critical thoughts of your own. That's why lockdown 2.0 is on the horizon. Lockdown 2 is on. Lockdown 2, I think we're going to have repeats just like we have every single rerun you see on the cable is rerun. Every movie that makes a couple dollars or doesn't make a couple dollars become a franchise. They drill it into your head over and over and over and over again. And what they're actually winding up with is a lot of people that find a math book more exciting than watching a franchise for the 20th or 200th time being aired. Most of these franchises being aired are not classics. And even a classic, how many times? How many times do you sit there and watch? It's not entertaining. But they seem to think that we, the people, we, the civilization, we, the population, have little brains, little thoughts, little aspirations, tiny homes, little spaces. Our fire is becoming dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. Do not realize who and what we are, earthlings, humans. And we're believing any type of easy, fast food type of info to make us feel at peace. But, however, I can very well say that lockdown 2 is going to happen. If you have any comments, do you feel something is true? I mean, we have earthquakes coming up, rumblings, and we all know about how nature can be manipulated through sound frequency, photon, light frequencies. How we have so many things happening on the earth, in the earth, above the earth, in our solar system. It's very easy. And then we have these marketing teams of all these top countries, top companies rather, which are countries in their international companies in their countries in their own right. Like company culture is taking the place of country culture. So they like to tell us. I will leave, and if you have any comments, please, what do you think? Do you think that are we going to have lockdown 2.0? I say we are. Until the next time, thank you for listening, and think about it. Think about how you're sitting there being programmed day after day after day. Radio, music, news, TV, televised, stares, comments. I heard, he said, she said. Right? Bye-bye.